All right, everyone, let's start taking our seats. We're going to start our program here in just a moment. We'll give it another minute, make sure everybody can come in from the hall. Welcome to our State of Education Address. Good evening. I am Beth Smith, proud president of the Washoe County School Board. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please rise for the presentation of our nation's colors by the Washoe County School District JROTC Superintendent's Elite Color Guard. The Superintendent's Elite Color Guard includes cadets from all WCSD JROTC schools, led by Cadet Command Sergeant Major Kayla Gutierrez. Tonight, the Color Guard is led by Silver State Brigade Commander Cadet Colonel Isabella Vergara. We thank them for their participation this evening. Please remove your hats and remain standing until the Color Guard has left the floor. Tonight, Cadet Staff Sergeant Lillian Gilpin from Spanish Springs High School will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does
Thank you. You may all be seated. As we look toward a bright future for our school district, we also look to the past and to the people whose lives, work, and sacrifice have brought us to this place. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in the hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage. We extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn in their territory. As we begin our program tonight, I would like to thank our very talented students with the Hug High School Chamber Orchestra and the Reno High School Jazz Band who performed for us this evening. Also, we thank our culinary students from McQueen High School who provided the delicious refreshments tonight. We're very grateful for their support. We are also joined tonight by an incredible group of public servants, dignitaries, and officials. As I say your name, please rise so that you can be recognized, starting with my colleagues on the Washoe County School Board. Vice President Dr. Diane Nicolette. Clerk Joe Rodriguez. Trustee Alex Woodley. Trustee Colleen Westlake. And Trustee Adam Mayberry. We are also joined by other wonderful servants in our community, starting with Washoe's own former president of the Washoe County School Board and Assemblywoman, Dr. Angie Taylor. North Valley's teacher and Assemblywoman, Natha Anderson. County Commissioner, Mariluz Garcia. Board of Trustees and Superintendent Dr. Susan Enfield. We have adopted ambitious goals as part of our strategic plan, goals that impact and guide our work with every student from their first day in kindergarten to the day they cross the graduation stage with a diploma in hand. We devoted countless hours to advocating for our students and staff members in Carson City during the session, resulting in landmark legislation and historic investments in Nevada's public education system. I'm proud that our board put its commitment to compensating our staff as valued professionals in our legislative platform. I'm proud that our board listened to and collaborated with staff in creating new supports for students and staff members. Elementary and K-8 schools that only had a principal to manage school operations now have either an assistant principal, dean, or learning to focus more on academic achievement. We have elevated the conversation around school safety and support by allocating funding to support the hiring of more officers in our school police department, adding more campus supervisors to our schools, reducing the walk zones for our students in elementary and middle school so more children have access to the bus. There is much to be proud of and many accomplishments to celebrate in these few months since the last time we gathered. As a district, we remain laser focused on how we can best meet the needs of our students as they learn and grow. And one of our most outstanding leaders joins us tonight. Arabelle Deason is a student at McQueen High School and one of our most active and involved student voice participants, which is a critical part of our educational mission. We value her input and input from her peers, and she has proven to be an effective and enthusiastic representative of all students. Arabelle also recently represented the Washoe County School District at a national public education conference on a panel of students from across America. She did a fantastic job and showed the quality of our students on a national stage. I am proud to introduce Arabelle Deason.
Great. Thank you so much, President Smith. Good evening, everybody. It's so great to see all of your faces here tonight. As President Smith said, my name is Arabelle Deason, and I have the privilege of serving as a student trustee on the Board of Trustees for the 2023-24 school year. I'm a proud McQueen High Lancer, and I'm trudging through my junior year. I'm also so fortunate to be the president of the Student Advisory Council, or Student Voice. Student Voice is a group of diverse students from each high school in Washoe County who come together once a month to tackle the big issues our schools are facing. The council values respect, community, and of course, each student's voice. Our goal is to create a space where students feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and opinions and truly know that their voice is being heard. We talk with our amazing facilitators and often other district employees to express our thoughts and opinions. We listen to fellow students to identify school challenges and work on related projects to improve the school experiences and outcomes for every student across the Washoe County School District. Student voice is a key factor in the decisions being made here in our district because we are the ones that these decisions directly impact. And this is just one factor out of many that the district uses to create the best possible outcomes for our students. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Susan Enfield. She's a lifelong educator who started her career 30 years ago as a high school English teacher. She has worked at school, district, and state levels serving educators, school leaders, support professionals, students, and families. She brought the uplifting tradition of Ducky Awards to Washoe County and is dedicated to her promise to know every student by name, strength, and need. Dr. Enfield has a wide variety of experience as she has been a part of schools in California, Pennsylvania, Oregon, and Washington. But she says nothing has felt more like coming home than joining the team in Washoe County. I personally have experienced her love and passion for students. Now would you all please welcome our superintendent, Dr. Susan Enfield.
And I know people have heard me say it, but I'll keep saying it. District leadership, leadership of any kind, is a team sport, and I work as part of an extraordinary team. So if you are a member of Team WCSD, would you please stand so that we can thank you for what you do each and every day? Thank you all for being here after a long day. It's my honor to work alongside you. So tonight I'm going to walk you through where we are, but more importantly, where we're headed. There's a tremendous sense of energy and optimism that I think President Smith alluded to, and that is made possible because of the commitment of our trustees, our staff, but also our community. And so I'm grateful to all of you for being here. So let's get started. So first of all, I think many of you are familiar, but I think it's important that you have a sense of who we are. We are a richly diverse school system, growing in schools. We are now at 103. This is the current state of our school for the 23-24 school year. I do want to point out, though, that you may have seen these coming in. We are bringing back the annual report. So we did this prior to the pandemic, and thanks to Michelle and her team, we brought them back. They're in English and Spanish. This is for the last school year. I want to point that out. So the data here will not be the same as the data here because it has changed. But we think it's important for people to know who we are and why we're so proud of the educators who work in this district. And so Arabelle alluded to, and we have it here, and I share it every chance I get, is our Washoe County School District promise. And that promise is really the foundational component of everything that we do. I've joked that I could give a presentation on any topic and still find a way to bring it back to this promise. Because at the end of the day, I've never met a family member, a parent, a grandparent, anyone who, if you said to them, is this what you want for your child? You want your child to walk into school and be known by name, a name pronounced correctly with respect and affection, by strength, the gifts that your child brings with them, because every child brings gifts, and what they need from us to learn, grow, and achieve, so that when they leave our system, that they are prepared for whatever path they choose for themselves. That is why we get up each and every day. And here in the Washoe County School District, we have been very clear in naming we can't deliver on this promise without our families and community, and that's why I'm so grateful to all of you being here tonight. So before I get into the plan itself and where we're headed and some of our accomplishments and to celebrate some of our partners, we do need to ground ourselves in where we are, because we know we have work to do, and we can't shy away from the hard reality that is where we are academically. And as you can see, and you don't have to go into it in great depth, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time, depending on what student group you're in, your chances of success based on this one measure, and I'm very careful to say this is one test score measure. We want to look at a more holistic way to measure all that our children know and are able to do, but we can't ignore these scores. We know that our children are capable of doing better when we as the adults do better. And so that's so much of what our plan is about. How can we collectively do better on behalf of our children? So not only are they achieving in school, but that they want to come to school. Chronic absenteeism continues to be a challenge, not just for us, but for all of the schools across the state and the nation, and it's something that we have to confront head on. But there are signs of hope. We don't have our I think they released the graduation data in about 2 days, or within the week, so we don't have the data for last year. But as you can see, we're starting to eke back up. And while we don't know exactly what it will be for the past year, we anticipate that that will continue to rise. So let's talk about our plan. We have a number of goals, and President Smith said it. We set bold goals. I say we set goals that are worthy of our children, and our children are worthy of greatness from us so that they can achieve greatness for themselves. And so I am just a profound believer in the importance of early learning. And so we have said, we've made a commitment that by 2026, because it's a 3-year plan, so don't ask me why we didn't get there at the end of this year. It's a 3-year plan, it takes some time, that at least 15 out of every 20 students, or 75%, will be proficient in English and math by the end of grade 3. Because the research is so clear, if our children are not where they need to be by the end of grade 3, it becomes so much harder for them to make up that time and succeed in our schools. So we're going to make a tremendous investment in what we call our P3 strategy. It's a thing. And it's not just a Susan thing, it's a national thing, okay? We can clap for P3. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. So for those of you who aren't in the education space, P stands for pre-K, and so it's a pre-K through 3rd grade continuum. So we want to make sure that our students, even before they get to us in kindergarten, are as prepared as they can be for kindergarten so that they are on that trajectory to be where we need them to be by the end of grade 3. So we have a wonderful team that is leading this work. And the exciting thing is we have other people in the community who are going to help us. So I'm going to talk about the Early Learning Network in a minute, but we're right now working to develop Kindergarten Jumpstart so that we can bring our kindergartners in, not after school starts, but before school starts. So then on the first day of school, when they arrive with everyone else, they know how to sit crisscross applesauce. They know where the bathroom is. And the only tears are the parents, not the kids, because the kids are ready. They're ready. And so that's something that we're working on right now. But I want to do, as I talk about this, talk about some examples of this work. And when I talk about that early learning network, we know that we don't have as many of our children in high quality pre-K settings as we would like. And we know that we have all kinds of child care and pre-K providers across the system. And in my former district, what we would do is we would have Saturday trainings where our staff would come together, we would feed them lunch, and we would invite all our early family, friend, and neighbor child care providers in and equip them with tools so that they understood where our kids needed to be in kindergarten. And it was a wonderful way to build community, build relationships, and frankly, to honor the hardworking people who are educating our youngest learners. And so yeah, you can clap for that too. And so I think the least we can do is give them a free lunch. So the beauty of being here, though, is that the Children's Cabinet has already been leading this work. So rather than start from scratch, and how many of you have heard me say, we're not going to reinvent the wheel? Well, good news, friends, we're not reinventing the wheel here, because thanks to the Children's Cabinet, and Kim and Michael and Annie are here right now, we are going to add on and build on the work that they are already doing. So that work is already started, and I'm proud to be a Children's Cabinet board member, and I'm grateful for the work that the Children's Cabinet does. And the other fun thing, because I want to infuse some fun in here, I started you with some hard reality, and we have some hard truths to face and some hard work to do, but we're going to have some fun while we do it. And if you don't know that we've got the Dolly Parton Imagination Library here in Washoe County, thanks to the United Way. Blake, thank you very, very much. So for those of you who aren't aware, and this is a side note, this is just personal prerogative, but this is just really, really cool, that any child birth to age 5 signs up and they get a book a month. That means by the time a child born today in Washoe County turns 5, they will have a personal library of 60 books. See, I did the math there, 12 times 5. So, and we want to spread the word on that too. So I want to thank our partnerships around early learning that are helping us do that work. And here we go. Goal number 2, student voice and advocacy. This is also, and you heard from Arabelle, who leads our Student Advisory Council, or known as Student Voice. And I hope some of you were able to see them in the room that we had here today. This is a hallmark of the Washoe County School District. And this was something that was incredibly important to the community members, staff members, and students who had a say in what this plan would end up being. And so by 2026, we want to make sure that every student in our system, every student, can explore their interests through some kind of extracurricular activity. And why is this so important? Yes, academics is at the heart of what we do, but for some of our students, they need a hook, right? I was a high school journalism teacher. I had students who came to school for my class. It wasn't that good, but some of them, they came to school for my class. Otherwise, they wouldn't come. There are club advisors, coaches, and others right now who are making that happen for our students today, and we need to make sure that each student has a sense of connection to their school. So we have our district level student advisory council, which is wonderful. It's representatives from all the high schools. And this year I've actually tasked them with helping us come up with our cell phone use policy for students, which is a hot topic right now. And they've given us some very good feedback on that. But we want to make sure that that opportunity for student voice and input is happening in each of our schools, not just at the district level. And I'll give you an example of that in a second. But we also want to make sure that our students are able to explore their interests, but also that we're listening to them on the clubs and things that don't exist today that they'd like to bring into their school building that reflect their particular interests. And then we're also in the process of developing what we're calling student success plans, that starting in fifth grade, we want our students to be able to sit down and say, here's what I think I want to be. Here's what I want to do. Here's where I want to go. And then take that plan with them as they go through our system, so that when it comes time for senior year, now I'm guessing that plan's going to change from what they thought in fifth grade, what they thought in 12th grade, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we want them to be thinking about what it is they want to do, so that they're starting to make the connection between what they're doing in school and what comes after school. Because we have to help our young people understand that a diploma isn't just a compliance document, it's actually a ticket to the future of your choice. It matters, and so we need to help them make that matter. And so this is a photo of our wonderful Student Voice, Student Advisory Council, that actually I think is right here in the library where they often meet. But I was actually out at Dilworth Middle School not long ago, and Principal Joel Picciotto, who's here, hello Principal Picciotto, and I were talking about this notion of student voice, and he said, well, I have, and actually it was because we honored one of your students with a Superintendent Achievement Award. And you were saying this particular student is so outstanding because she participates in the student groups that we bring together to give input on our school performance plan, to talk about the direction that the school is heading. We want there to be opportunities like that in every one of our schools, so that our school leadership, our staff are hearing from students, is what we're doing having the impact that it wants to do, and what can we be doing differently. It was a beautiful example of how the student voice can be a very organic thing. It doesn't have to be an artificial, pre-made thing. We want it to be real, so thank you for modeling the way for that, Principal Picciotto. So moving on to safety and belonging, and I want to be clear that this is a goal. It is also the overarching thing for our entire plan and our pillars that our trustees were committed to. So it wasn't good enough for us that we just made it a goal. We wanted to say that safety and belonging is what, sort of goes over everything that we do, because it's always been important, but you've likely heard me say it before. Since COVID, it's been more important than ever. And so we're looking at ways that we can make sure that every one of our students can say, I am known by name, strength, and need in my school. I have an adult that I trust who I can go to if I need help. I say it, also I've said it before, I'll say it again. As the adults in the system, and frankly as the adults in the community, we have to ensure that we have no invisible children. I don't want any child to show up at school and not feel seen, not feel heard, not feel supported. And so when we talk about this promise, please don't think that it's empty words on paper. This must become the DNA of our system if we are going to do right by each and every child. And when we show that data in the years ahead, we've flipped those numbers. The graphs are going in the other way, right? So, which we can do. So safety and belonging, mental health and wellness. We actually are continuing to increase our partnerships, but also adding staff in our schools to provide more supports to our students. We know it's still not enough, but we're working on adding more. Because here's the thing, our students keep telling us, we had the Washoe County Youth Mental Health Summit recently, and our students were telling us there's still too much stigma. We still don't have a culture where it's okay to say I'm not okay or I need help. So we have work to do there, and we will do that work. But the other things that we're doing around safety and belonging are also really fun. It's okay to have fun. Parent-teacher home visits, super fun. Super, super fun. And that is another hallmark of this district, that we have dedicated staff who are trained and go into students' homes and meet with students and families in the comfort of their own home, and they get to know the student and that family over time. I participate in those on a quarterly basis, and it's one of the best things that I do. I also get fed very, very well, and that's just a perk, and I'm grateful for it. But the warmth with which our families welcome our staff into their schools, and the commitment they have to partnering with us to make sure that their child does graduate prepared for whatever future they choose for themselves. I've never met a family member who didn't want the best for their child. So we just have to figure out what we can do to do it. And I found out that since August, we have added 10 more schools that are doing parent-teacher home visits across the district. So this is a movement that's growing. And then, of course, we talked about making sure that we are listening to our students in the form of our student climate data and others, so that when we're making decisions at the school site level, and frankly at the district level, that students see their voice, their priorities, their values modeled in that. And so, let's talk about Hope Squad for a minute, shall we? So I don't know if you're familiar with Hope Squad, but we had our Hope Squad members from Dilworth Middle School and Sparks High School in a room today talking about it, and I asked one of the students, and the Dilworth students were making these bracelets, and I believe they said that they're to be given to other people who just need to feel connected and know that they matter, so I will pass mine on to someone at the appropriate time. But Hope Squad is a peer-led suicide awareness program that helps our students who are in crisis, in trouble, not just have to go to an adult, but that they can go to a peer. And I asked the students, why is this so important? And they said, because number one, it's peer-led. You know, students want to hear from other students, but it raises awareness. And I would argue in raising awareness, it decreases the stigma, and it actually helps save students' lives. And this is being led by our students. Hope Squad is something I'd like to see across all of our schools at some point in the future. There's no reason we can't do it. And again, back to the fun. See, I'm infusing the fun here too. Safety, security, belongings, mental health, these are tough topics. But thanks to the vision and the tenacity of our trustees, we now have Astro, our canine officer. And if you didn't get to meet Astro, I'm so sorry, because with Officer Burrows, who is his handler and fellow officer, Astro is the first weapon-sniffing dog in the state of Nevada. Did I get that right? What? Northern Nevada, sorry. I was making it bigger. Well, okay. But in the state of Nevada, and we're so excited for this. This was a happy day for all of us, and this was because, as I said, of the tenacity and vision of our trustees, that Astro is now a part of our wonderful Washoe County School District Police Department. And then obviously, I started with this, and we have to come back to it. At the heart of what we do is teaching and learning. We're here to educate young people so that they can graduate prepared for whatever future they choose. And so we've set a goal, again, by 2026, at least 15 out of 20, 75% in grades 4 through 8 meet or exceed standards in English, math, and science. And I know people are saying, well, why 75, why not 100? Because it's a 3-year goal. And by the way, at the end of 3 years, we don't just say, done. We figure out what we've learned, what we need to do better, and we keep on going. Because we're not going to stop at 75. But let's get to 75 and then have the conversation about the strategy it'll take to get to the other 25%. But if we, and Dr. Sang Daukio, who is our deputy superintendent, who is from Nevada, I'm putting her on the spot, according to her, that 75% benchmark has not been met in the state yet. So how about it, Washoe County? Should we show the state how it's done and what our kids are capable of? I think we can. I know we can. So the trustees in the district have made tremendous investments in high-quality learning materials, professional learning for our teachers. I've got to be really honest with you. When it comes to instructional improvement and teaching and learning, it really isn't big, bright bells and whistles. It comes down to just the basics. It comes down to a great teacher who is well supported by a great principal and all the other staff in their school that allows them to focus on teaching. A teacher that has the supports, the high-quality, modern-day instructional materials that they can use with their students because they deserve the tools to do that. And if we can do that, if we can support our teachers with high-quality supports and materials and all the other things that they need, we can get to this idea of personalized learning. We can get to a place where our teachers can say, I can tailor my instruction. And our iReady system is starting to help us get there. We now have like real-time data where a teacher can say, oh, I can do this with this group of students tomorrow. I can do this with that group of students tomorrow. But this is doable. And I don't know if any of you have seen this, that yes, there's always the core curriculum materials that we have, and we have online textbooks, we have real textbooks, we have other things, but we also have to invest in the latest technologies. So we actually have piloted something called Prisms, and this brings virtual reality into the classroom. So think about it. You're a 7th grade student. You're struggling with math. You hate it. You don't like it. In the past, what would we do? We'd give you a second math class, typically 0 period, with a lot of worksheets, and sometimes a first-year teacher who was still figuring it out. True story. But now we live in an age where we can actually, if we're doing our job, which is keeping up with the latest and greatest and saying our students are deserving of the very best that's out there, we can now say to that student, put on these virtual reality goggles. And this is the world our young people are so familiar with, right? It's not really my jam, but for a lot of our kids, this really works. And all of a sudden, I'm dealing with 3D models of how, I'm not having to learn a formula as a formula. It's done in a real life example. It's powerful. The students get excited. All of a sudden, math is interesting, it's fun, and I realize I'm good at it. I realize I can do it. So yes, we'll continue to invest in the core when it comes to teaching and learning, but we will continue to look at those innovations that we can bring to our students, because I believe the students in the Washoe County School District are as deserving as students anywhere else in this country of the very best that we can give them each and every day. And so we'll continue to look for those things and make those investments. And then our final goal, empowering all learners for their future. This is what it's all about. At the end of the day, yes, it's teaching and learning, but we want every student to walk across the stage with a diploma that is a ticket to the future of their choice. So we've set a goal that by 2026, at least 19 out of every 20 students participates in dual credit, AP, IB, or CTE pathways and JROTC. Because we know that those opportunities open up a window into the future world of work for our students that sometimes they might not see. We also know that engaging students, one of the biggest reasons that sometimes our students disengage, don't show up, don't excel to the degree that they are very capable of, why? They're bored. They're bored. We need to challenge our kids. We need to challenge them and make learning something that they feel like, yes, this is pushing me, but yes, I can do it. And we also don't want to leave what our students do after graduation to chance. So we are working right now on a process where every graduate will have to produce evidence of what they are doing once they graduate. That can be a college acceptance letter. It can be my industry certification for a job that I'm going into. It could be a gap year. I'm going to take a gap year and go do it, but we want to know that they have a plan. And then we need to put a system in place, and we're building this now. What do we do for the student who doesn't have anything to submit? Whether it's military, career, college, gap year, volunteer, service, whatever. And then how do we connect with that student and potentially that student's family to make sure that when they leave us, we are not leaving their success to chance? And so again, this isn't work that we can do alone. And so we are expanding our partnerships, and we are looking at expanding internship opportunities for our students. We want our students to get a window into the world of work while they're in high school. And also, I want business and industry across Washoe County to see our students the way I see them. And the way I see them is that each and every one of them is brilliant, beautiful, and brimming with promise, and capable of greatness if we can help them see that in themselves. And so we are incredibly excited in the coming months and years to expand those internship opportunities to our students. But the partnership that I want to talk about really, really quickly too, because I'm wearing my 150th University of Nevada Reno pin that Joan Nannini gave me, is we are so fortunate that we have President Karen Hilgersum at TMCC and President Brian Sandoval at the University of Nevada Reno, who have partnered with us in creating dual credit opportunities for our students. So yes, that is worth clapping for. We now have not hundreds, thousands of students earning college credit while they're in high school. It's not just the credit, it's the confidence. I can do this. I can do college. Nobody told me I could do college. But look at me. I'm in high school and I'm doing college. Don't underestimate the power that that has on our students seeing themselves as we want them to see them, which is brilliant. And so my thanks to TMCC and UNR for being such wonderful partners to us in this dual credit work. And I will say, I was actually on a national stage last week, and I gave a shout out to this work as well. So we're very, very proud of that. And so the state, one of the things about public education, we love a trend. If one district or we all got to do it. Everyone's got a portrait of a learner now or a portrait of a graduate everywhere in the country. It's a thing. It's a thing. So not to be outdone, we had to have our thing. So the state is doing its own portrait of a graduate learner, and we're like, well, we're going to come up with our own portrait of a graduate or learner. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to read this, because better than reading it, we actually have a video for you to see.
I am.
I am a resilient learner.
I am physically and mentally healthy.
I am an inspired innovator.
I am a skilled communicator and collaborator.
I am a global citizen. I am a WCSD learner.
Yeah, that's worth clapping for. If that doesn't only give you hope, but also compel you to push yourself to do things differently and better on behalf of our children, I don't know what will, because they are so, so deserving. And so now, hold on, it's the interactive portion, and then I swear to you I'm done. So, because I know that it's late, I need you to take out your phone. It's important for me and all of us, the trustees and the staff, to hear. And by the way, staff, you can participate too. You're people too. So staff, you can participate and say, this is what we like. But I want you to scan this QR code. The Wi-Fi is state of ed at WCSD. We had Wi-Fi issues last year. I made sure we would not have Wi-Fi issues this year. So you can scan this code, and it will take you to a thought exchange. Some of you may have used Thought Exchange. It's basically a platform that allows us to gather all kinds of people's thoughts and ideas, but it allows you to see what others are saying and star the ones that matter to you. So it gives us a sense of what the real themes and trends are in the district. And so if you scan that, I'd like you to think as you reflect on our strategic plan or what we've talked about tonight, what are you most excited about? But even more importantly, what else would you like us to know? What did you not hear that you'd like us to be considering? That's equally as important. You actually do not have to do this right now. We are going to leave this thought exchange up through next Friday. So no pressure. You can just take a breath. You don't have to do it right now. But I do encourage you to take a few minutes to just reflect on these questions and let us know your thoughts. Because we're a work in progress. We're showing up each and every day as learners, doing our best to be better. And as your superintendent, you are welcome to contact me and to tell me how you think we can be doing better in serving our children and our families in this community. And with that, I will just say it is an honor for me to serve this community. It's an honor for me to live, lead, and serve in this community. And I thank you for showing up tonight and for showing up each and every day for the children of the Washoe County School District. Thank you, everybody.